Hello and welcome to this first episode of European UFOs. I'm your host Sebastian and I'm super excited to take you on a journey into the realm of the unknown, mysterious and perhaps even uncanny. UFOs, cryptids, apparitions, poltergeists, religious miracles are all on the agenda. But what is this agenda and what is this podcast about? Well, with European UFOs, I really try to do three things, one of which is already implied in the name. First and foremost, I want to look at UFOs in a European context. Ever since Kenneth Arnold's 1947 sighting of 9 flying saucers near Mount Rainier in Washington state, the topic of mysterious craft zapping above our heads has largely been dominated by discussions in the US. In fact, as eye-opening as it undoubtedly was, the New York Times article of 2017, which uncovered the US government's direct involvement in the study of UFOs, has entrenched this focus on the US. And fair enough, there are good reasons for this, with high-profile ex-government officials like Lou Elizondo and top-notch researchers like Gary Nolan testifying to the reality of the phenomenon. The public debate surrounding UFOs has rarely or never been as lively as it is today in the US. But surely, if we talk about craft that outmaneuver some of the most advanced fighter jets of the most powerful military on the planet, then territorial borders appear to be trivial, right? And this is, in fact, one of the main things this podcast is about. There's now a plethora of evidence gathered over the years by highly skilled researchers and credible witnesses showing unequivocally that UFOs are just as common in other parts of the world as they are in the US. Europe is one of these regions. In the episodes to come, we will hear from researchers and witnesses across Europe just how profound but also complex the phenomenon presents itself in this part of the world. And complexity is the key word, which brings me to my second aim with this podcast. One book that has never really left me is Colm Kelleher and George Knapp's Hunt for the Skinwalker, because it points to the sheer complexity that we might be dealing with. Weird humanoids, giant wolves, orbs, cattle mutilations, UFOs, you name it. This ranch in Utah has it all. It is this interconnectedness of distinct and seemingly disparate phenomena that really intrigues me. What Hunt for the Skinwalker, and more recently its sequel, The Skinwalkers at the Pentagon, showed is that we really can't treat UFOs apart from all the other weird stuff that's often associated with them. So the question then is, are there skinwalker ranches in Europe? Are allegedly haunted medieval castles associated with UFO activity? And what's the deal with religious miracles that really are such an integral part of many European countries? These are only some of the issues I want to tackle in future episodes. And in case you're worried, me rambling on in a monologue like this will hopefully be the exception, which brings me to my final point of launching this podcast. I have a background in science. In fact, I used to work at different research institutes for several years, and therefore know just how important it is to test your theories and ideas, not only against all available data, but also against the arguments and opinions of your peers. So the format I have chosen for this podcast is to conduct interviews with individuals whose work and perspective can help us understand different aspects of the phenomenon. I will try to vet potential guests as thoroughly as possible so that at the end we are left with objective and high quality insights. Please also feel free to propose guests you'd like me to interview. Whilst I can't really promise to get them all on the podcast, I will certainly read your messages and I'm, of course, always really happy to hear from you. So, thanks for listening to this very first episode of European UFOs. In the next episode, I'll have some great guests to talk about one of the most enigmatic, but also, in my mind, at least greatest European UFO cases, which includes miracles, and even a cover-up by the Catholic Church. So please stay tuned and see you next time.